if you want to save Mikasa and Armin, start a family within the walls. Quite the way to end the latest episode of Attack on Titan, if I do say so myself. This episode was goddamn fucking fantastic, man. This was a phenomenal episode. A nice change of pace, a lot of comedy to, I guess, to balance out all the depression and shocks we have gotten and heart attacks we've all suffered and just sheer amount of just being left speechless for the last, about, I would say, 2 to 3 episodes of Attack on Titan. I've had this constant look of shock, awe, and speechlessness. This episode, that wasn't the case. This was a nice, fun episode, ladies and gentlemen. I loved it. Fucking phenomenal. This was great. Lots of comedy in this episode. I was surprised about this. Is probably some of the most. I swear this episode probably holds the record for the most jokes we've seen in an episode of Attack on Titan, because I've never laughed this many times when watching an episode of Attack on Titan. We've always had humor, but this was like a lot of humor, which I liked. It was a nice little change of pace from last week, from the last few weeks, when we just saw everything that happened with Grisha, his sister getting killed by dogs, fingers getting ripped off, royal families, Ymir, this, that, and the other. So much crazy shit has happened in these last few episodes. Alpha Malman, that whole last section about wanting to save Armin and Mikasa was interesting. I tweeted out that could this be to perhaps time travel, or perhaps that Titan shifters can see future visions. I asked my man Platinum Equinox, and he replied back saying future visions to some degree, I guess. Which is probably what actually is happening right now, is that these Titan shifters can see the future, or at least visions of the future. Ironically, since the owl is going to be turning his time form into Grisha, or turning it into Grisha, and then he comes back, he comes back, and then Grisha comes in, he becomes the Titan, he becomes the Attack Titan, which is the official name. Well, in the sub, they say Shingeki no Kyojin, the Japanese title for Attack on Titan. They don't call Attack on Titan, like there's no on in here. So, I forget what the direct translation for Shingeki no Kyojin was. But I know it's not Attack on Titan. It's not the direct translation you guys were wondering, if you guys didn't know that. So yeah, I'm done rambling on. I don't really got much more to say about this. Let's just jump right into this episode, because this episode was fucking phenomenal, man. So we start this episode off. We have the owl. He's back in his time form. Crushes the last dude over. Crushes the last dude. Got Grisha's narration, which I'm assuming the narration is from him writing his book, or these journals, I should say. Says, he grabs him, but squishes him to a pulp, and then throws him into the ocean, throws him overboard. Excuse me, if you will. So after that's all said and done, he turns back to a human, and a nose starts coming out of his blood. Now, when I saw this, I was like, brother, why are you having nosebleeds, man? No other Titan shifters that we've seen so far have had nosebleeds. Are you just not that skilled with your Titan? Are you supremely weak? I was like, what is this? And we find out the reason for that. So dude's having nosebleeds, he gets back, and then Grisha is like, who are you, Owl? What are you? And he says that his name is Aaron, and I forget his last name. I forget the dude's last name, so apologies, but I forget I forget the dude's last name. But I remembered his first name was Aaron, and which makes me wonder, did Grisha name Aaron after this guy? Did Grisha name Aaron after this guy? Did he name him after the owl? Because they both share Aaron, because their both names are Aaron. They're both spelled the same way with E-R-E-N, not the A-A-R-O-N, I think, or however A-A-Ron is spelled. Shout out to anyone who gets that reference. Anyway, so yeah, got that, and then he's just like, why didn't you transform sooner? Why didn't you just sit there and wait? And while we were all getting swift turned and chance, why didn't you go earlier and save everyone? And so he grabs him by a collar with whatever's left of his fingers, which is probably not. I don't know how much is left of them. Definitely not much. And then we see more blood kind of seep through the bandages and goes a lot lower, meaning that he's probably reactivating the wound. And And then Aaron tells him, Grisha, man, stop, you're hurting your fingers. And I love Grisha's response. So much sarcasm. He's like, oh, I'm glad for you. I'm thankful for your concern. You certainly didn't care when they were getting cut off, asshole. He obviously didn't say asshole, but it was like, you certainly didn't care you didn't certainly show concern when they were getting cut off. I loved Grisha's response there, man. He says that. Oh, one other thing. He also says that he is a member of is a subject of Ymir, just like he is. And he's like, so you went into there as a Marleyan or something. I forgot the exact term for what he called the race that's kind of like oppressing the subjects of Ymir, the Eldians. Which, speaking of suppressing, you guys remember a couple reviews back in last week where I was talking about, oh, watch, somebody's going to connect this with Nazis and Jews and shit. Well, I was right. Because in James Hansen's latest stream he did on Twitch, he actually said that he saw this one dude on Twitter that connected Attack on Titan to fascism. I was like, oh great, I was right. He said he skimmed through the manga and that he came up with like, this Attack on Titan is a fascist series. So my theory was right. Anyway, that's off the topic here. Back to the episode. So he's like, wait, how'd you get past the blood test? He's like, all you need is a doctor to forge a note, which isn't that hard. And he says, doctors make excellent spies. He's like, is that why you chose me? And he says, it was a factor. And he starts wiping blood off from his nose. And then he says that if what happened didn't happen that day, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have this burning hatred for Marley, I think is what they were. I think Marley, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. And you wouldn't have that burning passion and hatred for them. We then get a flashback back to what we saw last week with the whole thing with that dude's telling like, your daughter got killed. I'm a very busy man. I brought her to the gate. Dipper, that jackass, that whole asshole with that mustache she had. Ow, I scratched my nose. Anyway. So, and we see his eyes again, my god. The eyes of Attack on Titan, Jesus fucking Christ, these eyes. We see Grisha's eyes, and my god. Fucking phenomenal, man. Them eyes. The Attack on Titan has the most expressive eyes in any manga or anime series I've ever read. My god, the eyes. Perfection right there, ladies and gentlemen. Straight up perfection. Anyway, so it tells him, if it wasn't for that day, you wouldn't have that burning patches for the government, your father, yourself. You wouldn't have that hatred. And so, yeah. And he says, I once had that same level of rage and hatred, too. A group of Eldians loyal to the king had formed a resistance on the continent, and my father was one of them, although he did really nothing. He accomplished nothing, and he ended up getting burned alive. And all I could do was watch from my hiding place in the closet. So he's actually a lot light. And then he goes on to say what he accomplished was just around the same much, just cutting off fingers and throwing people off of the wall to turn them into titans. That's actually all he was able to accomplish. Actually, this is going to remind me a lot of the episode from back from the first half of season 3 where we found out about the whole the commander, or about the boot camp commander that Aaron everyone was part of, who of course found Grisha right when found Grisha, and he said he had amnesia and everything, which makes me wonder, did he actually have amnesia, or was that all just a farce? It makes me wonder what Grisha was actually going to do. I really hope we do see more of Grisha, or at the very least we see more of his past. Like, we see more connective tissue, so we just see it just connect right to where that episode was, and we can see what actually went down, and what actually happened when he found the Founding Titans, and he took out the Race family, and of course inherited the ability, which Aaron now holds. Yeah, he does. I was like, wait, does he? Yeah, he did. Anyway, so then he tells him that he has one more mission, that and he also asks him, like, then why didn't you you mentioned that Dinah had royal blood in her family, so why did you save her? And he's like, precisely because of her blood. And he says, still what? Would you prefer she was forced into enemy hands and was forced to bear children for the rest of life? Which I must say, holy shit, that sounds like a terrible way to live. Like, no, I mean, I'm sure the sex would be nice. Oh my god, what the hell am I saying? But my god, that life, I don't think even Jessica Jones would want that. And we know how lifeless that woman is and how much she's like, oh, fuck it, fuck it. Smash, let's go. Forced to bear children, man, that just sounds like a terrible way to live, man. If you ask me, that just sounds like a terrible way to live. But, for God's sake, I'm loving season 3 of Jessica Jones. Loving it. I've been kind of slack. I haven't been binging as much as I should because I'm working on this Captain Marvel video. But after that, I'll be back to Jessica Jones and I can finally begin work on Steins Gate. Anyway. And then Aaron tells him, I have accomplished my mission, now it's time for yours. He's like, alright. And then he tells him, what is your last mission? And he says that you are going to infiltrate inside the walls and find the Fine Titan, and you'll take the power of the Fine Titan. Inherit the abilities. And he's like, wait, how am I supposed to do that? He tells him you got to turn into a Titan and you're going to eat me and you have to inherit my Titan. He's like, why can't you do it? Like, why can't you do it yourself? And it says, a Titan Shifter dies after 13 years when they become one. So, Aaron mentions later on that he has 8 years. Armin has 13 years. Which, I'll talk more about Armin's, how he reacts to it in a minute. And so he tells him, that's why that I've inherited the ability 13 years ago. So he doesn't have much longer to live. Hence, probably why he's been getting nosebleeds. Probably it takes a lot more out of him to become a Titan Shifter. So, yeah. So he tells him to. So then we get to Aaron, and then he talks about Ymir and about the coordinate, how Titan Shifters can and then we get to Aaron. He's talking about these coordinates, how Titans can see different paths, and they can feel the bones and blood when they connect to become the Titans and everything. And since the Titan Shifters all come together at one point, or they are all brought to this one point, this coordinate, and this coordinate is the founding Titan. This is when we switch over to Aaron. And then we get to Armin. Well, speaking of Armin, I got some of the dub. So, the dub was fucking phenomenal this week. This episode was the one where Armin dies. Massive air quotations there. And the voice, I gotta say, was fucking phenomenal from Armin's English voice actor, man. Great shit, man. It was awesome. Loved it. Armin went out like a beast. I loved it. I think I liked it even more in the dub, man. I thought that was some great shit, man. The dub was fucking fantastic, man. I look forward to next week, because next week's when shit hits the fan, and we got that, and we really start to see that good shit. And I look forward to seeing how Mikas's English voice actor and Hanji's English voice actors turn out, what they do, because that's gonna be fucking awesome, man. Anyway, back to the episode. So, anyway, yeah. So then we get back to where I like this little shot we had, where Aaron kind of looks over by the gate of the prison cell, and right there's a picture. It's right there's Grisha where he's talking. I thought it was a little interesting little thing there. So he gets then he tells him to rise, and he's like, or Grisha says, if I had known this was the price of freedom. He looks at his hands where he has no fingers left. I wouldn't have paid this price. And he tells him and then Aaron tells him to rise. He's like, I can't. And he pulls out this picture. He says, I brought this from your house. Look at it. I can't. And I love Aaron's response here. This was fucking perfect right here. He's like, can't stand, can't fight, can't look. Do you have no balls too? Did Marlians cut them off? I laughed so hard at that joke. He says you can't look, you can't stand, and you can't fight. You lost your balls too? I love that, man. That had me died right there, man. I laughed my ass off with that one. So anyway, and he tells him, dude, you can't awaken my old hatred for Marley like this. It's not gonna work after I've lost my wife. My kid betrayed me. I lost all my fingers. I found out you're a Titan Shifter and you could have saved the world earlier, but you chose not to because you can't. the fuck, man? Like, I can't just go back to hating them like when I found out how my sister died was at the hands of fucking dogs, you know? Grisha then tells him, all I have is guilt. That's all you need. The reason why I picked you for this mission is because you went past the wall. Which also, one last thing. One thing I forgot to mention, before we jump right back to where we were. Grisha actually tells them that, like, you told me was it fun to watch the asshole that, of course, killed his sister. Was it any fun? And he says, no. And Grisha's like, no, it wasn't fun. His screams and of agony were unbearable. So I just want to throw that out there. So even though this dude killed Grisha's sister, and is the catalyst for why his life is kind of in the shit, he didn't feel any joy, some satisfaction in that. Which, Godspeed to him. It's different from me. I was grinning ear to ear when I saw his death. I was like, yeah, motherfucker, die, enjoy your death, So anyway, yeah, back to where it. So he says, you went past the wall. If you didn't go past that wall, and none of this would happen, you would have inherited your father's medical practice. Your sister would still be alive, married, and had kids. But you went past the wall. That is why I chose you. And so then Grisha looks at the photo, and he stands up, he grabs the photo with like, can someone explain me how this man's even able to grab anything where he has no fingers? Like, I guess the stubs are working well, but still, that was kind of weird, man. Where like, I don't even know how he's able to grab anything without his fingers. So, anyway, yeah. So he stands up. He tells me he's going to inherit the Titan's ability, the name of the Titan, and he says in every era this Titan has always been there, and its name, and what it does is it marches steadily towards freedom. We get a flashback to that episode where he found the boot camp commander. When he got that whole episode, how he found Grisha and how he was nothing but a bystander. That whole episode, one of my personal favorites. This was an amazing episode, by the way. He talks about how we saw a flashback when he first met Grisha, when he was back out in the woods, or like outside the walls. So we get a flashback. He says, they stretch and they will run to fight for that freedom. It is called Shingeki no Kyojin, and you got Eren over there holding his wrists, saying Shingeki no Kyojin, which the subtitles say Attack Titan. I'm sorry, whenever I look at that, I'm just like, where's the on? It's Attack on Titan? Or is it just... like, it keeps throwing me off, when it says Shingeki no Kyojin, and the subtitles say Attack Titan when the title is Attack on Titan. It throws me off. Anyway, so... just wanted to throw that out there. That always throws me out. I'm like, where is the on? God damn it. Anyway, so, and then you got Hanji, Armin, and Levi just sitting outside the door. Hanji's like, the fuck are you mumbling to yourself? Like, was that your Titan's name? And then she legit mimics him. How old is it? She says, Shingeki no Kyojin. Like that pose and all. And then Armin's like, don't worry, it's nothing. He's like, nothing. He's like, oh, but you were mumbling to yourself. What's going on here? Was that the name of your Titan? And Armin's like, I'll explain to you later. And then Levi says, he's 15. He's in that. He was gonna have this. He was gonna go through this phase once in a while. I'm like, first off, I must say, Eren does not look 15. This man looks like he's 17 or 18, maybe 16. But I can assure you, this man does not look 15. When I look, because I legit, for the last time, I thought Eren was 17 or 16, because that's like the average age for shonen characters. He does not look 15. And season 1 and season 2, he sure as hell didn't look 14 or 13. So yeah, I don't know who's trying to fool there, but nah, man, he don't look 15. Anyway, so Eren slowly, it's all he's gonna go through the phase eventually. Armed. That had me laughing there. And then Hanji's still going off like, oh, what's going on? And we see that her eye is still bandaged up. So I'm assuming she lost her eye, because we know in the last 2 weeks ago, or was it 3? No, 2. 2 weeks ago, 2 episodes ago, we saw that when we saw what happened to Hanji, we saw somebody hit her glasses. So did she like lose her eye as well, or is it just kind of injured? Like, what's going on with her eye? Like, why is it all bandaged up and everything? We still don't know what happened to her eye. Anyway, but Armin just just give the man a break, and Aaron's just like, why are you even here? And Levi opens the door. He's like, you're done. But it's like, wait, but my sentence was extended for another 10 days. Yeah, but it's over. And then you got Hanji. Good old Hanji being like, well, apparently to Lord Zack, to Commander Zack, us, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good that we're imprisoning the heroes who took down the colossal and the beast, the armored and the armored and colossal titans, and your superiors are apparently nitwits that just let the armored and the beast titan get away. And Aaron's like, that's not true. And then we get to Mikasa. My God, this woman looks fucking dead. I mean, deader than dead. She looks like a borderline skeleton. She just like walks out of her soul. She just looks dead. I was like, woman, what happened to you? and Aaron's like, did you lose weight? I'm sure they gave you plenty to eat. And I don't get this. So Levi said they had a 10-day sentence. But Aaron says that their sentence extends for another 10 days. So was their sentence 20 days then? And why does Mikasa look so dead? Like, last week, she looked fine, but her hair was fucked up. Y'all remember my review? I was talking about, like, somebody get this woman a fucking brush. Here, I'm like, woman, why you look so dead? I don't know, man. Mikasa, quite the transformation. 2 episodes, she went from having messed up hair but looking fine to looking dead. Anyway. And so then Levi tells them they're going to meet the Queen. Yeah, we're finally going to see a story again after we haven't seen her since the ending of the first half of season 3. We see her. She's reading the letter that was brought to her by Ymir, and we get confirmation for a theory that I'm sure we all had. What is Ymir a lesbian? Is she a lesbian? Is she into Ymir? Well, we got that confirmation here. She said it everything, but not doing she. Now she just tried to say yes, I'm a lesbian, but you can tell just by reading this letter that yeah, she had a thing for Krista, and she is indeed a lesbian, or maybe she's bisexual. I don't fucking know. But hey, she's a lesbian. Congrats, anime has a lesbian. Hooray! I do not give a shit. Anyway, so in the premiere she says, my beloved Historia, I am writing you this letter while Reiner is looking at it from behind me, and while he's trying to look at my love letter to you. She straight up says love letter, so I'm like, yeah, woman, you're a lesbian. There's that. Well, we now get confirmation for that theory that we've all had since season 1. Is Ymir a lesbian? We got confirmation. So rejoice, you Yuri shippers. Your ship is actually canon, or at the very least makes sense. Congrats. Congratulations. You will escape my wrath of ships. You guys know how I am with yaoi ships, and Yuri can also get bad sometimes, but nowhere near as bad as yaoi ships. Anyway, so after them, she goes on about how she doesn't have much long to live. And which, of course, as we know, Titan shippers only have 13 years to live, which I love how Armin, I didn't mention this earlier, but Armin says oh, I have 13 years left to live? Okay. Actually, this is nothing, And so Ymir, she says she doesn't live much longer. Which also, one other thing. I think I might forgot to mention this earlier on the review, but Aaron, or I should say the owl, let me just say the owl just so you guys don't get confused between the two Aarons. The owl said that Ymir died after 13 years. That's obviously wrong, because Ymir is still living, unless there's 2 people named Ymir that are just have short names. Is it when they top at Ymir, are they top of the Ymir we know? Because Ymir is still alive and kicking. And it's also weird, because she said that she had 13 years left to live, but wasn't Ymir her Titan form for a century or something? Or at least a few decades? Because remember, she just stuck into the ground, and the ground just eroded around her, remember? Which that takes a long time. So, wasn't she in there for a decade or so? So, I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe it starts after you become a time shifter. Then your clock starts ticking, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, just wanted to throw that out there because I forgot to mention that earlier. So she has much longer to live, and then she says, "My only regret is that I didn't get to marry you." I was like, my God, this woman is not hiding anything. She laid it all out there. We got confirmation that Ymir is indeed a lesbian. So, hooray! Anyway, thank you for coming out of the closet, Ymir. Anyway, so then she's like, yo, Ymir was such an idiot, or such a true idiot, such a dumb idiot. But before she starts crying and everything, she puts her hand on the letter, and then bam, we get flashbacks back to season 2. She kind of like flash forward through all of Ymir's life, and then but we see some new stuff that we didn't see before in that little flashback back from season 2. We see her chained up like Eren was in the first half of season 3. So what happened there? Makes me wonder what happened there, and I hope we do get confirmation. We see what the hell that was about later on. Maybe in season 4, maybe in season 5. I hope we see where that was going, because that looks pretty interesting. I want to see more of that. Anyway, so then Historia, starts crying. She's like, yo, Ymir was such an idiot, such a true issue. What do I try to hire embarrassment? Yada yada. She starts crying. She like wipes away her tears when Eren, Armin, and Mikasa comes in there. They're all like, Your Majesty. She's like, no, cut it out. Come on, it's not even official yet. And she's like, oh, you guys must have had such a hard time. Yeah, here I am, chilling in the walls, staring out at the sun, staring on the sky. And Armin says, nah, you're filling up a portion job just by living. And Eren's like, yeah, you're right. And she's like, it's glad to see you guys haven't changed at all. Yeah, and Eren's like, oh, it's right because they hasn't sunk in at all. So anyway, we then head over to like this courtroom area where we got the whatever's left of the scouts, which is just 9 people, which of course is Eren, Mikasa, Hanji, Sasha, John, Levi, the dude we don't know, Connie. Did I ever mention Mikasa? I don't think I mentioned her. But anyway, yeah, the 9 people that just the main cast members of Attack on Titan is all that's left for the scouts, essentially. So, we get to the memoir. They tell us everything about that 199 people left their gave up their lives for us to survive, all that stuff, and that this is all that's left about the memoir and everything. And so the commander Zach calls up Hanji. She explains everything we already know, that the human, that we're all part of the subjects of Ymir, we're time shifters, we all have the ability to become time shifters, that everyone's trying to kill us, our true enemy is the whole world. We even get a flashback to season 2 where Eren says, who is the real enemy? Which you guys might remember that one. Yeah, all shit you already know. And then Eren starts thinking about what happened. He thinks about a descendant of the family. He's like, wait. And then she also talks about how Eren has found her Titan's abilities, and then Eren guy starts thinking, he's like, and remembers what happened. Remember, he punched the smiling Titan, which was Dina. Dina is a descendant of the royal family. Eren then gets up from his seat and screams, that's it! And everyone's just like, looking at him like, what the hell? Han's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You scared me there. You got something to say? And, Zack's like, oh, please continue, our Titan. And Eren's just like, never mind, it's nothing. I love this was the running joke in the episode. He says, he's in some phase where he thinks it's cool to randomly start blurting out stuff or talking to himself out of the blue. I see. He is of that age. Are they saying that he's going through puberty? Oh man, I love this was some much needed comedy after all the depressing shit we've watched. Some much needed comedy was overdue. So thank you there, Wit Studios or Attack on Titan mangaka. Anyway, so then Hanji looks at him and she's like, I see. And I'm like, excuse me, Hanji, do you mind explaining? And then Eren starts thinking about it, and he talks about how I managed to do it once I had made contact with a member of the royal family. Because we know only the members of the royal family can have access, can truly use the Five Titans' abilities. But once they do, they are unable to go against the will of the king, the original king, the original founding king. That's denounced war and everything. So yeah. And we also got this flashback back to the first half of season 3 with Kenny, which I thought was also pretty nice to see Kenny again. Anyway, and so Aaron keeps going on. He's just like, if that's how it works, what would they do with Historia? What's going to happen with her? And that is where the episode ends, with the EAD being just a bunch of shots we saw from previous episodes of like the little illustrations of what the history of the world was, with the subjects of Ymir anyway. So anyway, yeah. But one thing I must say, with the whole thing with Historia, it makes me wonder, because you guys know I don't read the manga for Attack on Titan, but I do know one thing that's happened recently in the manga. At least I think it's happened recently in the manga. I won't spoil it for obvious reasons, because I don't want to spoil you anime onlys. But it makes me wonder, was it Eren? Any manga readers who watch this video, they might know what I'm talking about. It makes me wonder, was it Eren? Maybe. Anime, I'm sure you anime always are confused as hell. Maybe the manga readers are just like laughing, like, yeah. While nodding in approval or some shit. I don't fucking know. Anyway, that's the end of my review. Overall, I will give this episode a 10 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. This episode was fucking fantastic. I'm hyped. Next, we're probably going to see the ocean. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to love the final episode, man. It sucks Attack on Titan's going to end. The show was so good. The season was so fucking good, man. Oh, so good, man. So good. Oh. Man, this episode's so good. Anyway, guys, I'm Andy here. My final verdict is a 10 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. So I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
She's too